Welcome to the Brooklyn Knitfolk podcast. My name is Jaclyn. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. Everywhere basically is at Jaclyn Salem. This is episode number 46 and I'm so happy to see you again today. I've had a very crafty few weeks, although I don't have a ton to show for it because, as I mentioned on the last episode, I'm feeling like I want to be monogamous with some sweater projects. So we'll get to that in a second, but first, thank you so much for the very warm reception to the Akasha quilt pattern. It's my first quilt pattern that I've ever released, and that is available on Etsy if you're interested in purchasing that. And yeah, with that, I guess we can jump right into the episode. I've got some co-hosts here, Jafar, and then Mika, who's sitting next to me in this patch of sunlight, but I don't think you can see her. So, I have one finished object to show you, and it's one that you haven't even seen yet because I cast it on last Monday and finished it yesterday. So I went to the Chelsea Yarns in Red Bank, New Jersey, 5th anniversary, like their 5th birthday celebration of their being open, and Julie of Sweet Sparrow Yarns was having a trunk show there. So of course it's our tradition to kind of like, I stayed the night with her the day before and then, help her with any remaining prep that she has, and then we just have kind of like a little sleepover fun night together and then go to the trunk show together the next day. Which is what we did, and it was just so much fun. Chelsea Yarns is probably my favorite yarn shop, really. I mean, Gauge Intention was amazing, but RIP, it's closed. That was a yarn shop that was in Greenpoint in Brooklyn, owned by Michelle Wong, but she has since closed and doing other amazing things with her nitty life. But Chelsea Yarns is now like replaced that void in my heart for like my favorite yarn shop. Unfortunately, it's just kind of like far away from me is the thing. It takes me probably like 2 hours-ish to get there, like maybe 1.5 by public transportation. So it goes, but anyway, it's always a treat to go to that shop, and it's almost always whenever I go to one of Julie's trunk shows that we were there. So at this trunk show, she kind of had, or not trunk show, at this 5th year birthday celebration of Chelsea Yarns, Christina, who is the shop owner, had brought in a lot of indie dyers to kind of make celebration colorways for her. Christina herself actually dyes yarn. She dyes Chelsea Yarns Luxe hand dyed, and I could not resist this colorway. I'm like, no more single skeins of like yarn. Like, stop doing this, Jaclyn, because I have plenty to knit from right now. But this colorway just called my name, so much so that as soon as I got home, well, I guess not as soon as I got home on Sunday, but on Monday night when I was watching the season finale of The Bachelor, don't even get me started, I had to cast this on straight away. So this is the Celebration colorway, and this is a anniversary colorway that Christina of Chelsea Yarns dyed for her shop. And this is on her stellina base, so it has gold stellina in it. And it is a 75% merino, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina base. And it's kind of like this mauve-y cream with some navy blues, hints of chartreuse in there. Sometimes these like blips of like reddish pink. Jafar. It's just meowing nonstop. What? It is a stunning colorway, and the best thing about it is that when it's knit up from far away, it reads as a neutral, but then as you're knitting it, it's a really different yarn on each stitch. You can see kind of the colors as I'm going along here. So each stitch is different. So it makes it really fun to knit, but knit up reads as a neutral. So I was inspired by Jody of the Grocery Girls. She's been knitting a lot of hats with sock weight skeins of yarn. And because I have all this sock yarn in my stash, I'm not gonna knit socks with all of it, and I loved this colorway, I was like, I'm gonna cast on a hat with this. So that's what I did. It's kind of a mashup of two different recipes that I found that were free on Ravelry. I wanted to knit a broken rib beanie, but I didn't like the decreases on the broken rib beanie that I saw and liked, so I kind of did decreases based on a different pattern. The stitch count is 120 stitches, and I held this double, hence the reason why there's two cakes. You could pull from the center and pull from the outside, but I find that whenever I do that, my yarn gets tangled. So I just separated it into two skeins of yarn and then held it double as I was knitting it, like so. 120 stitches, and I used a size 4 needles. Now I'm a loose knitter, as many of you know, because I say this all the time, so you could use whatever needle makes sense with a DK weight yarn, because that's essentially what you get when you hold two fingering weights together. You get a DK weight yarn. So I think a recommended needle size would probably be about a 6 for that. And then I just did broken rib stitch, which is one row of 2 rows that you alternate. The first row is knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then the second row is all knits. And it comes up with this broken rib texture that I think really shows off the yarn, and it's like there's no pooling in it. I could have knit the sock head hat if I wanted to do just one strand of fingering weight yarn, but I find that whenever the sock head hat tends to pool yarns in it, and I just don't like how that looks. And I kind of just wanted something cozy, and I don't know, just I like the broken rib stitch. I think it looks really cool. The fit is amazing. It's exactly what I wanted it to be, just like a slouchy beanie. And the decreases are really subtle. See if I can open that up for you more there. The decreases are fairly subtle compared to the other pattern I was looking at, which had like a star top on it, and that was just a little bit too much for what I wanted. I didn't do any kind of regular ribbing first. I just went for the full-on broken rib stitch for the entire thing, and the fit is fantastic. I will say, as I was knitting it, I was kind of worried that it was going to be too big. Looking at it, I was like, that looks really wide. I was like, is this gonna fit? Is it gonna be too big? And so I stopped knitting on it. I almost ripped it out that night, but I was like, you know what? Put a pause on it, hold it up to your other hand knit hats when you get home, which this is the only other hand knit hat that I've knit for myself. This is the Facets hat by Rose Beck. I love this pattern. I've knit this pattern like 2 or 3 times now. I would knit it again. This is also Madeline Tosh in the Optic colorway. So this hat has been like with me now for, I don't know, almost 3 years, and I love the hat and I love the fit of it, but it's just kind of getting a little bit gnarly, you know, from use and fuzzing up, and it's a single ply worsted weight yarn that I knit this into, so you can imagine. But I love, love, love this pattern, would highly recommend it. But just needed a new hat to add to the collection. Plus I just was desperate to cast on that skein and didn't want to knit socks out of it. So I just love the results. Even speckling. It's just really, really pretty. I love this colorway. So if you're looking for a quick project to kind of like boost your sweater knitting, which just seems to be all the rage these days, or just kind of need like a palette cleanser, that's exactly what this was for me, because I've been in a tunnel of knitting with my Akiko cardigan, which I'll show you in just a minute. And so whenever I'm knitting on like big projects like that, and it's just, it's slow going on it, because I'll show you in a second, but it's an entire seed stitch sweater with cables on it. I just needed some sort of like sense of accomplishment, and then watching Julie of Sweet Sparrow Yarns knit on her Tegna sweater, she is just flying on that thing, and seeing hers desperately makes me want to cast on one of my own. I really want to knit the Tegna right now, but anyway, who knows, maybe I'll cast on Tegna with one of my sweater quantities that I have in my stash. Hi Jafar, come here. Hello. So yes, 120 stitches, knit on a size 4 needle. Again, knit with whatever needle you would use for a DK weight yarn. And then I knit it for 7 inches and then followed the decrease instructions for, I think it's called the Erie hat. It will be on the project page for this on Ravelry. So if you look and see on my Ravelry projects, it'll show you what 2 patterns I sort of mashed up. But love the fit. It's cozy, it's comfy, it's cute. I love that it's like kind of a neutral, again, hat that will go with a lot of things, but it's super, super fun to knit with this colorway. I'm not sure, I know that Chelsea Yarns does vend online, so if you're interested in getting this colorway, you could potentially get it online. This is the Celebration colorway, if I didn't already say that before, I'm pretty sure I did. And it's the Chelsea Yarns Luxe hand-dyed yarn. So, love this. All right. Next project, living in my Paradise Island project bag, and I've added some flair to it. One of my favorite things about mine and Julie's friendship is that we just kind of randomly get each other things sometimes as we see it and know that the other will like it. She got this pin for me, and the name of the I can't remember who makes them. I'll put it on the screen for sure so that you know. And it just says, make, wear, mend. I love that. This little sweater with hearts on the elbow patches. And then a while ago, we ordered these little house brooches from Nastya Sleptsova. She has a gorgeous Etsy shop. Everything in there. I have so many prints of hers hanging up in my apartment. I love her work. But she sells these brooches of different houses, and I picked out this one and Julie picked out another one, and so we ordered them together and combined our shipping. Love this. So I've got that on my Paradise Island bag, which is my new favorite bag right now. I can't bring myself to take off the tag. Like, I know I could just take this off, but look at her logo. Isn't her logo pretty? Alright, so the Akiko cardigan. It may not look like much, but I feel like I've made a lot of progress on this. Also affectionately known as my Subway sweater or Subway sweater baby. So this is the left front that I'm working on right now. Hold it up so you can see it. It's all over seed stitch with this panel, a cable panel right here. These stitch markers, the pink stitch marker, the pink puff, that's from Tilting Planet, and I move this one every time I make a new Instagram story. So I've been posting my progress on this sweater on my Instagram story, so anytime that I knit on it, I will use this to indicate the last time that I worked on it and posted it to an Instagram story. And then this one I just borrowed from Julie. I brought this project, this is the only project I brought with me to her apartment, and whenever we went to Chelsea Yarns for the 5th anniversary of the shop and the trunk show, and I just popped this on the night that we had our little sleepover, and I ended up getting all of this done from the sleepover night and then the next day at Chelsea Yarn Shop. So I pretty much doubled it in size in one day of working on it. It's kind of sucks because I've been working on this on the subway, and lately I just haven't been able to get a seat on the subway, or if I do, it's in the middle, so I can't like get my arms, I don't want to like be hitting people with my arm the entire time that I'm knitting, so I haven't been able to really get a seat that is conducive for subway knitting. So I haven't been able to make a ton of progress on this just because I haven't been able to really work on it. And I don't tend to work on this one at home. I try to alternate projects for different locations. So basically I've only been working on this one on the subway, and then I work on my wrap design, which I showed you in the last episode, whenever I'm at home. So I haven't made any progress on that wrap design, really not enough to show you anyway, and then I haven't knit a single stitch on my Knitfolk socks. I really need to finish those because my mom is requesting another pair of socks from me in a variegated blue colorway, like a variegated navy, which I don't actually have. I took a look at my stash and nothing really immediately jumped out with. I have like a solid navy, but not like a navy that I think she's looking for. So I guess I'll have to go get something, or I'll send her a picture of several skeins that could work just to see what she would like. But she's requesting another pair of socks, so I need to finish up my Knitfolk socks. I'm pointing over there because my basket of whips is over there. But anyway, this is the Akiko cardigan. In case you haven't seen it before, it is a design by Yoko Hata. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern, and the yarn, which I love, is Primrose Yarn Company in the maple leaf colorway. And this yarn is just so wonderful. It's so soft. It's an MCN base, which stands for Merino Cashmere Nylon. And I'm not sure if you can see it. Yeah, you can a little bit there. There's a little bit of a halo to it, just ever so slightly. And I just know when I'm wearing this, it's going to be the most luxurious sweater. It's already so soft in the skein and just so soft to the touch for the fabric that I've knit. I'm very excited about this project. So that's the Akiko cardigan. I'm alternating skeins. I'm alternating every other row. So because it's knit flat, I knit one way and then back, and then I switch to the other color, knit one way and back, and then switch again to the other, or not other color, the other skein. So alternating skeins, because you can even see a difference just in the skein itself, so you definitely want to be alternating skeins with a project like this in a sweater. So just show you one last time. This gorgeousness. I was a little nervous at first that this color, looking at it in the skein, would like overwhelm me, but looking at it, I love the way it's working up. I think it's a stunner. It's kind of hard to say whether or not it's green or yellow. It looks different in different lights, but let's just go with like a golden chartreuse. Love it. I have one acquisition to show you, and I've teased about this because I've talked about it a few times on previous episodes because I was so excited to order it. This skein of Nomadic yarns in the Burrow colorway. I posted a photo of this on Instagram. You guys went crazy over it. It's the perfect colorway for the Burrow, is it not? The Burrow is a Harry Potter reference, in case you didn't know. It's where the Weasley family lives. And it's on her yak sock base, which I am so excited to try. It's 70% merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. I love samples of things that I've felt that were knit in yak yarn. It has a gorgeous drape to it, so I'm curious to see how that will affect the socks. But I do know that yak bases tend to err on like the natural color of yak is darker, so it makes the colorway overall slightly darker compared to the same colorway which may be dyed up on a different base. But I love the effect of it. It's very like watercolory. Ashley of Nomadic Yarns, her colorways are already kind of got a watercolory effect in the striping of some of them, but I just love the way that this base has taken the dye. So it's got kind of this like cranberry red color, a brown, an orange, and then this kind of like in the garden green. I can't tell if there are two. Yeah, I think there are two greens. This one's like a chartreusey brown green, and then this one is more of like a grassier green. But, oh, and this color right here too. Got a blue in there. It's like a blue-green. So yeah, I'm just really excited about this one. Love, love, love this. And this again is the Burrow by Nomadic Yarns. That's the only acquisition I have. Again, I've been like not on a buying kick lately just because I have plenty of stuff that I can knit up in my beautiful stash right now. Although what I'm about to say next may be like kind of flying in the face of that. Druzy Rising yarn. So I love Druzy Rising yarn, just like so many of us did. She unfortunately does not dye anymore. I've been checking D-stashes on Ravelry with little to no luck. If you, for some reason, are not going to knit up a skein of Druzy Rising that is in your stash, please let me know. I would be happy, more than happy, to pay for shipping and the yarn, of course, itself. So just let me know if you have an extra skein of Druzy Rising in your stash that you don't think you're going to use. Let me know. It will go to a good home. I'm just like dying to knit with her yarn right now. I don't know. It's just like amazing colors. So that is it for the knitting content. I have been reading a lot lately. I mentioned last time I'm on a reading kick. I just started The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin, which has been making its way around the knitting circuit because Chloe Benjamin is also a knitter, but I don't really know who Chloe Benjamin is. Like, Does she have a podcast? Is she famous in some way that's not for being an author? I really have no clue. I just know that for some reason in the knitting world, she's making a splash with this book. The Immortalist has nothing to do with knitting, at least not yet, and I'm probably about 40% of the way through it, but so far it is an absolutely amazing book. And I'm not giving anything away by saying this, but the basic premise of it is that 4 siblings go to this mystic, for lack of a better word, and this mystic tells them the exact day that each of them is going to die, and then follows, the rest of their journeys from there. So that's kind of a short, quick plot summary for you about The Immortalist, but I'm very much enjoying that. And I'm trying to think if there's something else that I read in the interim. Not that I know of. I did get this book from a friend who recommends it to me, Station 11. I've been hearing a lot about this book. People say it's very easy to recommend, so that probably means it's going to be a quick read. So maybe that will be on my list after I finish The Immortalist. But I'm just having such a great time reading these days. Loving it, As for designs, I did mention I have another quilt pattern in the works that should be coming out soon. The Clark mittens, I know, I just need to get them photographed. That's for some reason the holdup right now, which maybe I'll do that as soon as I finish recording this podcast, just to get it done and uploaded to Ravelry, because the pattern itself is done. I just need to get them photographed. But thank you so much for your patience and for your excitement about the Clark mittens. And yeah, that's basically it, really. I'm about to go meet up with Grace, who is Wizard Dreams, and Shauna, another neighborhood friend, for some drinks and knitting in the neighborhood. And then later tonight, I'm going to a 76ers and Brooklyn Nets basketball game. So excited about that at the Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center. And that should be fun. I haven't been to a pro basketball game ever. I've been to college basketball games plenty of times, but never to a pro one, so I'm excited about that. So with that, I'll leave you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!